Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome again to another installment of Transition Talks with Athlete Soul, where we discuss stories of transition from elite athletes and what they have learned throughout the process. I'm your host, Steve Davis Jr., former football player, athlete transition coach with Athlete Soul, and the founder of Strive Higher at the Sports. Now, today we get the chance to talk to Paige Ashley Robinson, a former University of Florida Gator, a British national team player, and a three-time British basketball champion. Now, after a standout basketball career, Paige has transitioned into high-impact corporate roles and champions social impact for young female athletes. I'm sure she has a lot of great nuggets to share about her transition from London to the US and back. So let's jump right into the conversation and learn a little bit more about her story. Well, I definitely wanted to bring you on here, learn a little bit more about your story. From what I know, from London and went over to play basketball at the University of Florida with the
Mhm.
Gators. But won't you start by just kind of telling us a little bit more about your story and your journey that led you to basketball?
Yeah, yeah, my name is Paige. So I started playing basketball at 13, and it was actually because I stopped playing all the other sports my mum had me involved in. She had me in various like swimming, taekwondo, stagecoach. Well, no, I didn't quit that, but the idea was that I was going to be this model and this actress. So I was going to go to acting school and modeling. But I quit all the sports. So it got to a point where my mum was a bit concerned because I wasn't getting up and down, and she was just concerned about how I was going to be if I wasn't playing any sports outside of school. So she asked if I liked anything, and I said that I liked basketball from physical education from my PE lessons in school. And so we started a basketball club, and then within 1 week at Lucian Thunder, which is located in South London, I think on my very first day, I got scouted to go play in Spain. I'm actually 6'3", and I think I've been 6'3" since I was 13 years old. So as soon as I saw this tall girl, raw talent, runs like I don't know, like a bird, like, you can just make something out of her. And so my mum was kind of like, look, you quit school to go to the acting school and continue with modeling, or you go to Spain and you play basketball in Spain and get your education over there. And it just for me at the time, I felt like modeling was always going to be there. So I was like, let me just see a new culture and go to Spain. And at the same time, London, like there was a lot of knife crime, gang crime and stuff. So it just seemed like the safer route to being successful. And yeah, that's kind of how my journey started. It was kind of like it's either A or B, and I chose B.
Hmm. Yeah, and BB in basketball, very.
Yeah, exactly.
So you jumped into basketball. You're tall. You probably was maybe one of the tallest girls in your
Yeah.
class. Um, and then when did you realize you were pretty good at it that was going to take you to another step?
Um, I want to say when I started getting recognition from scouts in America to play. Um actually one of the coaches at Florida, she's known me since I was 14, 15 years old. That's how long she's been watching me play from when I was playing in Spain. Um that's when it was pretty awesome, and I was like, and it wasn't even that I felt like it was a career. I just felt the community. That's what kept me going. My first year was really tough away from home. I didn't understand Spanish, and it was just really tough. But at the end, when we won Spanish championships, and everyone was happy, and it was like, oh my gosh, it just felt so worth it to be a Spanish champion and just celebrate with my teammates. And we just became sisters. We were texting over the summer. I started to get recognition from the national team here in the UK. And that's when I wasn't thinking about modeling or acting anymore. I was just like, I just want to be around my teammates.
Hmm.
Wherever it takes me, that's what I want to do. I just want to be around a team, and I just want to enjoy and have fun because that's all it was. It was just a lot of fun. to win and to compete and to yeah, just be active. It really did mold me to be something I didn't think I'll be today. So
Yeah.
yeah, really.
No, that's pretty cool. And that atmosphere, being in the locker room,
Yeah.
being around, folks who are fighting for a mission and,
Mhm.
trying to achieve goals together, like it bonds you. It creates a crazy fun environment. Um,
Yeah.
and you transition from doing that over in the UK to coming over to the States and playing, in college basketball with Florida, in that environment. And then it seemed like from there you also went back to playing pro. So tell us a little bit more about that journey, and like what were some of your highlights of like that next level of competition?
Yeah, I definitely think playing in the SEC is there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it at all. That's definitely a career high of just landing and surviving that. It almost feels like when you're a collegiate athlete, you're in this 1% club. So only 1% of the population will ever understand what you actually go through. So yeah, it's almost pretty cool in that sense. That's definitely a career high. I think another career high was qualifying for Eurocup. First time a English team has ever done it. So to be part of the team that has built the success of what London Lions is today. They've won a lot through Europe, and so it's really important. That was another career high, and then just representing your country. I think that above everything, that's probably the biggest thing because then it's like representing your family is one thing, the name on the back, but the name on the front, like Florida is like, oh my gosh, that's lit. But then your country, it's like, yeah, that's on a whole different level. Like you're a role model. Like you don't understand. It's the same as
Mhm.
Florida, to be fair, because girls do look up to you, but it's just this is your country, like
Yeah,
your entire country. It's like you don't even know you don't even know every place in your country, but this is what you represent.
yeah.
So it's a different level of like respect and honor that you hold. And yeah, I'm very appreciative of that.
Yeah, I can't imagine, playing for a bigger purpose of everybody in the country having your back.
Yeah.
It's different than playing it for a college. Like, yeah, you got, a good crowd of people who care about the Gators, but the whole entire country is like, on an Olympic level, like people care about the country in that standpoint. And you've won 3 championships for your country. Am I correct?
For London Lions.
Yeah.
So yeah, for the National League here in the UK. I've actually won 10.
Oh, my bad.
I'm sorry. We have different like they have like the cup, they have the trophy, they have the league, and yeah, there's so many. But within 3 years of being there, I think I've won 10.
Wow.
10, yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. So with all that, like, basketball has been a big part of your life.
It's been my
And
life. Yeah.
yeah, and you add on the layer of, playing, back in your country and being able to put on from a certain standpoint. How did that like affect your transition? Like when did that come about as far as like the end of your playing games, I mean playing days, and then what was it like for you to kind of hang up the jersey and move on to the next step?
Do you know what actually sparked that conversation with myself was my senior year in college. We had this class called I can't remember. I think it's just a transitioning class for athletes to
Mhm.
transition. And if I'm honest, it prepared me as much as it could at the time because it sparked the conversation. What am I going to do afterwards? What they spoke about was like the cost of living, um, the what it's like to get a job after college, um, the transferable skills of being an athlete and bringing it into a work office environment. And it just came to, and then we had to read a book called Surviving the NFL. Like there were so many things, like you just never know if you're going to get injured, how teams just drop you. It's pretty like raw. It's pretty tough. So that sparked the conversation in my head. And I was like, okay, so COVID happens and I have the opportunity to play back in London. And I'm like, can you pay for my master's? Because I haven't got any work experience. If I play again, I'm still not gonna have any work experience, but can I get a master's at least?
Mm,
And if I can balance it correctly, maybe I can get some work experience along the side, you know? Because I'm in my home country, you never know what I can do whilst playing. It's just a lot of juggling things about. And that's what I ended up doing. They paid for my master's and I got my master's in sport management. And I was like, okay, after this, I'm gonna start looking for a job. So it wasn't even a thought of, oh, should I do this or should I do that? It was like, I have to do it. So I kind of just like ingrained it in myself to make sure this is the plan. Go do it. Unless your basketball career is taking you to amazing places where you don't need to hang up the jersey yet. But this is the plan because if you wait until you're 25, I mean, I did wait till I was 25. If you wait until you're like 30 and you have no work experience and you're playing catch up, it's really, really tough. And even me at 25 and I'm trying to get a job, I was playing catch up. So the only thing that saved me was the fact that I was an athlete. When you're applying for jobs, people see you're an athlete, they're like, wow, she's going to work hard. So they use that to their advantage. Little do you know, they're going to exploit you
mm.
to whatever degree. So you have to learn to put your foot down. Um, but yeah, there was a lot of character building during that. But that was really it. I was just pretty determined to stick to the plan unless I felt otherwise.
Yeah. No, that's big because like what you're saying is, the information and the knowledge that you got while you're still playing allowed you to start setting up some stuff for you to think about what's next. And quite often, like you say, like it catches up later on and it kind of sucks because you've been involved in the sport. You haven't gotten the experience and the things that you need on your resume that'll help you land something and get a job. But being an athlete, they know we're athletes. They're like, oh yeah, you come in, we know you're gonna work hard, you're gonna be responsible, you're gonna be accountable, and to a certain point, you're gonna get exploited, like you mentioned. So let's talk a little bit about that. What do you mean by exploitation? Like
Yeah.
how has your transition been working in the environment, and like what have you noticed that's kind of different?
Yeah, I would say when you apply for a job, you get this job description, right, of what your R's and R's are, your roles and responsibilities. And um majority of the things I was doing was just not on my job description, which to be fair, everyone actually says that. Like you do above and beyond what you're supposed to do. But for me, it was eye-opening because I had never done this job role before. I was a marketing assistant at the British Basketball League, and I enjoyed it. I loved my team, I loved my boss, but I do feel like there was a level where um I I should have said no.
Mm,
For instance, I was working weekends and I wasn't taking my loo days. I didn't even know what loo days were. I didn't even know that was a thing, you know? I was working on days such as Christmas Eve, New Year's and stuff because that's when they had games. But I didn't know that those were days I didn't have to work. And no one was telling me this. So it's like I'm just putting all this work and I'm getting burnt out. And my bosses are way older than me. Like they have babies, they have families and stuff. So they're taking like all this annual leave, and then I feel guilty if I ask for annual leave because who's going to be in the office? So because I'm used to being a team player, I'm sacrificing my own health by just staying in the office and doing the work. Um, and I didn't realize that until I got a different job and I saw how their structure was more for me. They cared about your health. And yeah, I definitely did feel exploited for sure because I was working weekends. Even when I did learn about Lee days, and I said, well, I'm taking these days off because I work the weekend. And my and then I took days off for annual leave one time and I can't remember, but my boss asked me to come into work after hours to go to a game and give out flyers. But I just worked a full day of work and now I'm doing extra work, but I'm not getting paid for this extra work. And I got to travel down there. Who's paying for my travel? And it just seemed like I understand you got to be in it to want it because you care about the job. but you don't pay me enough to go and do that, you know? So at the same time, you got to like find your boundary. And there was a lot of character building during that
Mm,
because there was a lot of things that I didn't know I could say yes to, I could say no to. Um, and to this day, I'm still learning. But I definitely do feel like I was exploited in that way where they just feel like, just give her this to do and she'll go do it, you
mm.
know?
Yeah. Yeah, what you're saying is some very important stuff that I feel like everybody will resonate with is like, you used to being a team player and used to like showing up and doing the extra work because in your sport you got rewarded for that. Like you put in the time and either you saw some personal gains or you got some gains back from the coach. And now you're in this working environment and you're like, I'm used to doing this and working extra. And really, there's no days off, right? Like, we don't take days off. And to a certain extent, yeah, a company will take advantage of that. But I also think, from a standpoint of just an athlete, it's kind of like an ego blow to work this hard and not see the reward immediately, right? And feel like, okay, am I getting the just due for all this effort that I'm putting in? And having to adjust in the real world on how much work you put out to get back in. But I also think part of it, as you talked about, it kind of builds some character, like
Yeah.
learning, how to navigate this new space, work hard in this new space, but also, find your values, find the things that you care about, speak up about those things and how you talk about those things. So it kind of shows up in different ways. So I'm curious where you are now, like where you work, but also just thinking about identity
Mm.
because the connection with athletics and in that environment and building and being nurtured, and now you're having to do this and learn on your own. Like, what have you picked up? What have you learned differently since the playing days that you
Yeah.
appreciate now, and how things are kind of operating for you right now as far as your working environment too?
Yeah, I would say what I've learned is to have my own schedule because I think as an athlete you're just living off someone else's schedule really. Like your whole life is printed out for you. So I had to figure out my own schedule, meaning I had to figure out my own balances. So when am I gonna go to the gym? When am I gonna go spend time with my friends? And when am I gonna go to work? Like th those were really it. Like when am I gonna eat? It was like I had to figure all these things out because before it was done for me.
Mm,
It was like, okay, so training table where we all used to eat at Florida is open until this time. So I just have to make sure I go there before it closes. But now it's like I actually have to make sure I cook my food and eat my food and I'm in bed at least by 10 o'clock. So it's like I have to like schedule my day where I know I can be the most productive in work and I'm there for my friends and most importantly I'm there for myself. So that's where it was a to be fair, it seems like very small and minute and micro, but it probably made the biggest difference because I was able to figure out my percentages and dosages of each thing
mm,
and how I can excel in each part of the day. So and that's really important because if you start to get drained week by week, day by day, it's almost like functional depression, which is like very highlighted today. And that's not what we want. So I'm happy that I was able to figure that out and it helped me say no to certain work stuff. And where I've said no to certain work stuff today, I don't feel like I don't know, being villainized. Is that the word? Like I don't feel like my boss is taking it to heart. It's like, okay, no worries. Get home safe or enjoy. Speak to you tomorrow, you know? And
mm,
that was the hardest thing because I think before I was scared if I say no, do I get left out? Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, do I miss out on a promotion, let's say, or do I not get what I'm supposed to am I meant to kiss his ass like every single day of my life, like after hours? Like I didn't know when it was okay to say no. And that was at the beginning. And now 3 years in, I've decided, yeah, I'm not doing this.
yeah,
Like forget all of that.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's growth, and I think it's that's hard because in those environments, you're trying to climb the ladder. You're trying to, get better, get promoted. Um, and in the environment that's there, it's like you gotta follow a certain way, follow certain rules in order to do that. And that doesn't always feel natural, right? It's like, I don't want to have to do this, but if I really want to be seen, I'm like having to do things I don't want to do. But you've gotten to a point in your career and maturity of just being able to know what resonates with you and how you want to show up, which is important because I think when you're in a career, it could be easy to just jump in and focus on the performance and being the best that you can be and trying to climb that ladder because that's what we did in athletics. Um, but when you take a seat back and really think about all the things that matter to you in your life and your world, you can compartmentalize how you want to show up and have the right conversations and don't just pour everything into work. It's like getting an opportunity to go on vacations and do things and enjoy your life. I see you on social media doing a lot of different things. So it seems like you figured out some stuff that makes you happy, which is
Yeah.
important, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and to be fair, like I think I'm spoiled because I have such a great team to work with. My boss is like, I'm like, can I have these days off? Like, because I might have a modeling opportunity or I don't know, like a presenting opportunity. And he's like, yeah, of course, let me know how it goes. This is someone who wants to see me do well in life. So I think you really want to find a circle where people actually care for you as a person, as well as knowing you're going to do your job well. So
Yeah.
if I wasn't doing my job well, I probably think he'll say, no, you can't do this. But because I do my job well, he trusts me. This man is gonna let me excel outside of the working environment. And so I feel really grateful that I have a team like that because not everyone gets blessed with such an opportunity to
Yeah.
have such great people around them. And yeah, I love my team. I say it all the time, but I genuinely have the best team ever. They've helped me transition into the job role great. And they've still allowed me to be an athlete, to a certain extent. If I want to go play basketball or if I want to go do modeling or whatever, they let me be who I want to be also.
Yeah.
So it's all molded. It's like molded me to be this like octopus that does all these other things.
Yeah, and
Hands
that's
in
that's
every
part of it, right? Like you're multifaceted. You want to show up in different ways, and it starts like with the question though. Like you ask the question to be able to explore these different things,
Mm,
which is important. For any athlete that's out there listening to this, I think knowing that you have other things that you want to explore and having the courage to say, "Hey, can I get some space for this?" It takes a lot to get there. And then yes, it takes the right person to receive that to say, I trust in you. I know what you're bringing to our company and the value that you bring. So I want you to be the best version of yourself.
mm,
But finding that best version, it takes some time. And it seems like you found some different versions for yourself, which is great to hear. So I'm curious if you were to, just in retrospect, think about your time back in Florida, or just
mm.
think about the athletes that are there now. Like, what would be something that you would tell them?
Don't take it for granted. It goes so fast, and I generally remember my first day to my last day. It's so insane. Just don't take it for granted. But do prepare for what's next because the only thing is you don't know what next looks like. It's gonna be so brand new. It's gonna feel like, what is this? Like, what do you mean? Like, we got to take public transport to places. Like, it's gonna be such a change. And but embrace it like how you embraced being an athlete because you're just gonna learn as you go along. And just don't be discouraged. It's okay to feel disappointed at times because it's just new and you're just going through the emotions, but don't feel discouraged the fact that you can't excel like in your what's next. Just prepare though. Just have a little think like what does that actually what do you actually want to do? Like what does it actually look like? Do I want to continue playing? Do I want to start working? Do I want to do an apprenticeship? Like have a little think and I think have a little think and then talk to your career advisor and go forward from there, you know?
Yeah, I love that. Great pieces of advice. As we are about to close, I just wanted to give you an opportunity if you wanted to share anything else related to,
Mhm.
your journey, what you've learned, maybe your identity that you've kind of formed,
Yeah.
with Athletes. So we really focus on identity. But I'll leave the floor to you to maybe share anything else, pieces and nuggets you want to share with folks.
I feel like this conversation's gone very positive, and I didn't, I mean, I was expecting it to be very positive, but it hasn't always been like that during the journey. It's been very up and down. Even I was telling you, like last year, I was having FOMO of being in the gym by myself and wanting to be around my teammates. Um, that was something where I just didn't want to go gym no more because it was like I'm just here by myself. Like there's just a bunch of guys here. Like I just want my girls to work out with. And it's just those little things that make everything so different. Long trips on the coach and playing games on the coach. Um, it's been it's been a whirlwind of like emotions, and I don't want you to think it's ever going to be easy because it's going to hit you in so many different ways. Even I'm like I have shin splints in my knees now, and I never knew I had that before, and it's so evident now because I stopped playing. All of these little niggles are now catching up with me, and I'm like, wow, I really should have stretched better in college. So, I would say just yeah, it's not easy, and just don't ever think it's going to be easy, but really do find yourself a group of people who can support you and not even just support you, who can relate to you. I think that's even more important than the support because I think there's a lot of people who can support you in life, but if they can't understand, remember that 1% club, if they can't understand what you've been through or what you're going through, then it's very different to, oh, come on, you got this, da 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 da, it's gonna be great. Yeah, that is, you sound like a mum talking to me. I don't want to hear that. I want to hear like, bro, like I feel it, like I went through it too. Like you want to have those conversations because you can learn from someone else's, let's say, mistakes, so you don't make the same mistakes, or even from someone else's successes to see if that's the avenue you should take. So definitely find yourself around people who you can relate to. And it doesn't have to just be in your sport. It can be outside your sport. And yeah, definitely stay close to them for sure.
Yeah. No, I agree with you 1000%. And I resonate. My body is catching up to me.
Oh,
My shoulders, my wrists, everything from football is starting to come back. But
speaking, clapping.
yep. But the community aspect is big. And I think, you know, one thing that is very beneficial with Athletes So is like creating that connection point across all sports when you go through your transition and your identity and you're looking for a place to just resonate with the journey,
Mhm.
finding the right people to do that, that you don't have to explain yourself. They just get it.
Exactly.
It-
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah,
helpful. It's helpful. And finding a tribe of people wherever you are locally, I think is important too. So that's a good nugget to end on. I think, we're building towards that, but really enjoy, just hearing your story a little bit more and all the things that you shared, I think are really relevant for athletes and former athletes. So thank you for your time, Paige.
yeah. Thank you. This has been great. We should do this again.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's our time today for this Transition Talks interview. Once again, you got a story to tell, you're a former athlete, please reach out. We'll definitely put you in the hopper for more opportunities to get that story out there and just help more people. So, thanks again and continue to strive high, everybody.
Yay.